I'm Victoria Sterling.
And I'm Bronwyn.
And you're listening to
Disrupting Disruption, the only business podcast that gives you the edge you need to get ahead of your competition.
That's right. We're giving you actionable actions that you can immediately action to help your interaction with the traction of your actions.
So your business doesn't contraction.
With over 40 years of shared experience in business and middle management between us.
Which in regular years is like 120. We're
are-
basically an ancient turtle
We are
of middle management. Like an old middle management creature.
So pop us into your ears
And get listening
and get the tools you need
to succeed today.
Why do you have to have the last word?
Because I started, so I should end. It's synchronicity.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do.
In today's society, it is so important to stand out, to get ahead.
It's really more competitive than ever, and you're just trying to get that edge above your competition. And we've got a lot of experience, and today's episode, we're going to break down ways we tried to stand out
And failed.
miserably. So you know what not to do.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go through some tools that really helped us immensely.
Really,
get
the
an
only
edge.
one thing that helped us that is foolproof.
So hopefully you walk away from this episode going, geez, I bloody won't do that. And then you'll get to the end and go, oh, no, I'll do that.
I'll do that.
And
yeah.
that and that.
So it's going to be a lot of, I'm not going to do that.
Never doing that
Not
again.
doing that. And then, yeah, okay, I think I'll do that.
Might give that a go.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. What are
so
some of the
let's-
things that you've kind of done to stand out? Or you've tried?
Yes, to leverage my position in the
Yeah.
office, if you will. One of the biggest mistakes I made was power dressing and thinking if I just did that, that would be enough for me
Sure.
to get ahead.
Sure.
So I just picked a colour, blue,
Right.
just pick a random colour off the top of my head, and then I just wore that.
Right.
And what was happening was I was one of 3 Victorias in the office.
Okay, that happens a bit.
It's a very, very common name because of all the queens. And we were all going for the same promotion and I wanted to be picked.
Right, of course.
So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to be in a sea of Victorias. I'm going to be the blue Victoria. I'm going to float to the top. And what happened was I still didn't get the promotion because it was based on merit and the work you've done.
So and this is key to this whole episode. So what it came down to wasn't what you were wearing, but your actual work.
Yes.
Right,
So that was a
yeah.
big mistake I made.
One of the things, just to piggyback on that, one of the things that I was doing as a way to stand out that also didn't work, as a warning to our listeners, trying to stand out in the office through unusual skills and talents.
I remember this.
You remember this
Yes,
phase?
I remember
Close-up
this well.
magic was what I did a lot of. And you remember that phase. And I thought, you know what? I'll put the work aside and I'll do a card trick. And it sort of started actually costing a lot of time and money.
I do remember that because you were just learning magic at the time. So a 15-minute meeting would become a 2-hour ordeal, if you will, because you would practice the trick, fail, start again, practice the trick, fail, and be like, no one leave, no one's allowed to leave. I'm going to get this right and you're all going to be impressed.
And that's right. It actually ended up costing a lot of productivity. And one of the tricks, for example, I bought in a dove and released it, and that was like quite a kerfuffle, and it disrupted the meeting immensely, and we had to open a window, which we used to hate doing, and that was disruptive.
The urge to do something to gain social capital is really, really strong in the office. Another thing that I did, I tried to become the office hero, if you will. I thought if the printer was down and I could fix it, maybe everyone would turn to me and think, wow, look at that woman. Let's, give her more money. And what I did is I unplugged the printer. Everyone was very frustrated for the whole first half of the day.
Right.
I thought I'd go in, plug it back in, be the hero. But people did see me and it did backfire.
It did, because nobody could print. So that was actually, I remember that. And we couldn't print, so nothing got printed. and it just cost a lot of time.
People were quite furious with me, understandably.
And to piggyback on that, when the printer wasn't working, I did a card trick to try and lighten the mood, and people got even angrier.
Furious.
So again, that's like two combined ways of standing out that really failed for us.
And there was another phase you had that was quite interesting, Bronwyn. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah.
Let's land and expand.
Actually, to be honest with you, to expand on that, this is a common one, and I was sort of trying to do it in our office, which was superfoods. I would performatively eat superfoods as a way of showing to the office that I was superior and fit and like strong.
Disciplined.
Yeah, because the harder to eat the food, the stronger you seem, because it's like, whoa, it must be super healthy. This guy must be very disciplined to eat quinoa, because quinoa is bird seed. That's actually a statistical fact. If you look that up, quinoa is bird seed.
It says here it's a grain.
It's birds eat grains.
Okay.
Different birds, different grains. And what happened was I would eat that thinking that was going to help me to stand out. But what ended up happening was very little. I spent a lot of time sourcing quinoa, which is actually surprisingly expensive. And I just didn't get any work done.
Yeah.
Although very good source of fiber.
And to pivot away from eating, to talk about something else I did, I could see how when a team came together in a social setting, it really improved the work. So I thought if I could be at the top of that hierarchy somehow, or be that glue, if you will, for the team, then I would stand out.
Right.
So I spent a lot of time and tried to become the queen of banter.
Sure.
Yeah, the funniest woman in the office, which is hard because I am, as you know, deeply unfunny.
Deeply unfunny,
Yeah,
yes.
humorless, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
So it was a lot of work, but I thought, I can't joke about other people because that's a HR issue. But I can become the butt of all jokes.
Right. So you thought being the butt of all jokes, increased banter, increased social capital will
Yes.
result in more productivity and success.
Nothing says confidence like someone who has the ability to laugh at themselves.
Totally. And how did that work out?
Not great. I did become the butt of all the jokes, and it was hard. It really, really hurt my feelings. Well, I do have one thing that actually works.
Okay.
While you've been talking, I have actually finished off our proposal, and it's ready to send off to the client.
No way.
Yes way. Let me introduce you to Adobe Acrobat Studio.
Okay. I thought that was just for PDFs.
No, not anymore. It's an AI-powered productivity tool that's actually intelligent. The features will blow your mind.
Wait, so I don't need my wall of sticky notes anymore?
I would go as far to say you never needed that. You don't need that because all the work here is in one place. First, I just open Acrobat Studio. Then I create a PDF space, add in all our brainstorming ideas from earlier, just drag and drop, and then I ask AI Assistant to summarize.
Whoa.
There you go. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's take this and generate presentation. All you need to do is write a detailed prompt, customize with settings like audience, length, level of detail. Then we need to choose from a variety of professional Adobe Express designs. You do that?
Well, I'll pick the black and white one. It's classy.
Great. It's
Just-
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Just no color.
All right, now it's ready. I'm going to export it as a PDF and share it with the client.
Could you send it to me first
I don't
before you
think
send
so.
it
I don't think so.
to the client?
No, you are not getting credit for this. I've done all the work. So
You literally did it in 2 minutes.
yeah, well, I did do it. It
We
was
ju-
me.
you just did
It was
it
me
now.
who did it. So I'm going to send it.
Can you ask our assistant to come up with like new magic tricks?
Yes.
That'll save me hours.
One place to do all your
So now that we've gone through all the things that you shouldn't do,
And giving you the one thing that you should do
we're hoping we've helped you improve your KPIs.
and increase your ROI. So stop messing around with those mind games and use a tool that actually works. Acrobat Studio.
So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on
Disrupting
Disruption.
You were a bit off on that one. The disrupting disruption.
I was trying to harmonise, so I'm a little fraction below, if that makes sense on an audio level. We'll have to... You need to just let some things slide.